everybody, welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is Season 1, Episode 34. However, we've switched over to broadcasting it from my personal page now. I hope you guys can still see this, and if not, I'm going to be sharing the link later on anyway. However, thank you to a lot of your encouragement and your advice on really setting up a personal page, because I think it makes it a lot easier for everybody to interact with each other, especially when I'm putting out content like this. So I really appreciate all the feedback, and here we are. What I want to really share with you today, really though, is over the last few days, I've been getting a lot of phone calls. It has something to do with the fact that maybe I'm going on a lot of people's podcasts and their group for interviews and whatnot, and really sharing my philosophies and concepts. And as you guys really know, I'm a huge believer in the fact that successes leave clues. Successes always leave clues. And really what I'm sharing, what I'm teaching are not new. They're not really that new. I've just all learned it from a lot of the other people that have come before me, that have built a great life, great business, great successes, great investment decisions for themselves. And I just really model after their behaviors, the thought process, and the way they handle deals and negotiations and feelings and emotions and fears and all that kind of things. And so this is really what I'm doing. And today I want to share with you one of the people that I look up to the most, even though I have never ever met him. And love him for who he is, hate him for who he is. It doesn't really matter. I always focus on the lessons that they are sharing and they're teaching, because right now, I understand. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm totally okay with that. And I'm just going to tell you, I never used to be that way. I felt like I was raised to be liked. And lately, I realized that, you know what? I'd rather be loved for who I am. I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And I'm very, very blessed that I have a lot of people that understand the journey that I'm on. And all I want to do is to share a piece of that with you, if not all of that with you, to be really honest. And so today, I really did name it, really the Warren Buffett way of thinking for success in real estate investing. And the reason why I would call it that, really at the end of the day, is about how he continuously tells people it's about being contrarian. It's about being contrarian. And that's probably a saying that a lot of people have heard. However, the second thing that he keeps saying is always focus on the fundamentals. Always focus on the fundamentals. And the funny thing is though, having been in real estate investing for a decade now, intentionally and accidentally and recreationally for almost 16 years. And that's funny because it just kind of clicked today that I actually bought my very first piece of property that I used to live in back in BC in 2004. That was a long, long time ago. However, I really started doing this seriously with intentions, with proper education and mentors and teams backing me about 10 years ago, as a lot of you guys know at this point. The point though that I really want to share with you is that contrarian thinking. And Warren Buffett always talks about the fact that, number one, when other people are greedy, be fearful, and when other people are fearful, be greedy. And it's not about being greedy, really. It's about the fact that that's usually when opportunities will start to surface. And very much like what Robert Kiyosaki talks about is the fact that opportunities are everywhere. It's just that most people are not trained or educated enough to see it, especially when it comes to having the financial savviness or the financial literacy to really spot the opportunities that are right in front of them. And so I'm just going to share this with you, especially if you're a newbie. If you're not, you probably have heard and read this book already. Make sure you go and grab it and do yourself a favor, read through it, or Audible. Like I keep saying, I'm not a big reader because it's not my first language, so Audible, huge help. And the book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I'll put it down in the comment section later on for you guys as well, okay? And the other thing that Warren Buffett always says, I have two rules. Rule number one is never lose money. Rule number two is don't forget rule number one. So it's really funny. However, that's the interesting part about all of this, because if you actually just go on Google and search whether or not Warren Buffett has actually made bad investment decisions, of course he has. Even just 2 months ago, not that long ago, 2 months ago, his main company, okay, has reported a $50 billion loss. Think about that. Do you think he's sweating? No, because he's learned enough to diversify. And if for nothing else, he's got the knowledge and experience. Even if that's putting him in hardship, which we all know it's not, he can actually bounce back just like that as well. And that is the power of proper financial literacy can do, okay? So one of the biggest things that I really want to share today, though, just to piggyback on that whole Warren Buffett concept, is in the industry of real estate investing, and I think a lot of you guys have already heard me say this quite a few times, real estate investing. This is one of those things where a lot of people think that because it's real estate, because it's hard asset, that's what's exciting about it, because you can see it, you can touch it, right? You have to see it and touch it before you buy it. That's not always the case. I keep telling people to really separate those two components. Remember, if you have a financial goal and that is the goal that drives you into real estate investing, or better yet, investing in real estate, why am I drawing that distinction right there for you? Simply because of the fact that, well, if you actually do have the funds, you can invest in anything else. You can invest in your cousin's startup if you like each other and trust each other, or you can invest in Google, Amazon, and Facebook, or Zoom these days. Whatever stock that's actually presumably going up, or like Warren Buffett, he invests in American Express, in Coca-Cola, all that kind of things, or even Tesla, right? Again, the point is, real estate is really just the vehicle, because at the end of the day, you're learning how to invest, and when you learn how to invest, your goal is to make money, okay? Your goal is to learn how to make money. All we're doing is leveraging real estate investing as leveraging real estate as our main vehicle. And so the big thing here, I've already covered this a couple of times. I'm just going to write this out one more time. And I keep saying Trust Your Talent is the home of the SMP methods. And S stands for strategy, and M stands for market, and P stands for property, okay? The reason why I keep on emphasizing on that is the fact that it's a very simple formula. However, it took me so long to really boil it down to this, simply because of the fact that, I'm not gonna lie, you know what, in 2016, 2017, there was a point in time, even though investing it the right way, the educated way, has actually served me and served us really well, there was still just different times when you see uneducated people. They bought a pre-sale condo in Vancouver or in Toronto, and then boom, they made $50,000 after all is said and done, you know, fees and whatnot. Because some people think they made $100,000, $200,000. That's not the case, because you got to remember the fact there are a lot of different things in there. That's easy money, and it's so easy for some of us to get emotionally affected and to just kind of go back and forget about all the fundamentals. Remember, this is why I started today's daily dose with sharing with you what Warren Buffett says, okay? Contrarian thinking, however, always focus on the fundamentals, because who doesn't want to go out there and buy a nice, shiny, beautiful new unit, new property? Because it's much better than having to go out there and visit the smelly, ugly houses. However, the smelly, ugly houses, those are where the money really is, okay? The point what I want to really make with you right here, though, is if you think about it, people that are not educated, they always start where? They always start with property first. Chances are, I'm going to take a guess, that they're either lining up to go see show homes, pre-sale centers, or listings, and usually when that happens, they probably have a realtors that they're working with. And once again, we love the realtors that we work with on a daily basis on our teams across the world. At the same time, we understand not all realtors are created equally, meaning that they themselves may not have gotten the financial educations, and that's totally fine. However, they themselves might not even be investing or buying properties for that matter, Because for a lot of them, it is a job, and they are self-employed, and there's a lot to be said about that. The point is, though, we cannot play victim, because everybody is just out there doing what they do, and for the most part, making a living. And so if you're actually going to see a property, most people, not all of them are created equally. I want to keep emphasizing on it, because a lot of times people think that I keep on crapping on realtors. That's not the case at all. Okay, I want to make that very, very clear, simply because we've just experienced way too many people like that. However, it is the 80-20 rule sometimes, right? So 20% of the people, they're just different than the rest. And so the 80% of the realtors, chances are, once you book an appointment, or you go into an open house scenario too, they will basically do everything they can to sell you on the property, or sell you a property for that matter. And then they will always tell you that, hey, you know what, the market is good, and it's real estate for nothing. If for nothing else, if you buy it, rent it out, hang on to it for the next 20, 30 years, and wait for the big cash out. That's what you got to do. And then guess what? Even if you buy into it, we like to joke that most amateur investors, or uneducated investors, or recreational investors, so let's put it that way, or hobby investors, their only strategy is what we call buy, rent, and pray, because all they do is they pray that the property does not give them too many troubles over the lifetime that they're hanging on to it, and that they pray that they get good tenants that will always take care of the property and pay rent on time. And so if you think about it that way, that's how a lot of the amateurs approach this. The educated investor, however, and even though it's red, I want to use red as a good thing today. And I'm Chinese, so red is actually a really good color for us. And this looks like Christmas right now. So goal, we always say that, you know what, you did not go into real estate investing because you like to collect property for the sake of collecting properties. There is a financial goal there somewhere. Either it's immediate cash flow, or it's to build a better retirement, or it's to build a legacy, or build your inheritance so that you can pass something down to your kids and grandkids. The point is, there is a monetary goal that's attached to it. And let your goal dictate the strategy or the strategies that you need to apply, because a goal by definition also kind of comes with the deadline, right? If you're not familiar with the SMART goal idea, maybe we'll do another session on that one of these days. I'll put that down there. However, SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant, and time tracked, or time stamped, or timely, depending on what school of thought you subscribe to. So let your goal determine what strategies you should be using. There's so many more strategies out there rather than just buy, rent, and pray. And then once you pick your strategies, then it allows you to narrow down on markets, a market or markets that will contribute to that strategy, okay? And then after that, once you determine the markets, then we work with our Power Team members to look for properties that'll check off the boxes. So it's very formulaic and yet very systemic and very easy process to follow. And that's what we all want. That's the funny thing. I mean, in the beginning, it took me a long time to really figure this out myself, not gonna lie. And this is why, these days, I'm just super passionate about sharing this with everybody, every chance that I get, simply because once you can leverage this process, okay, home of the SMP method is right here, and it makes it so much simple, and it has that guiding factor. And also the other thing is, depending on what your goal is, and also for protection and diversification, I usually call it the 2x2, meaning whatever your goal is, typically you want to identify at least 2 strategies that you can apply in at least 2 different markets to execute those strategies in. And then property really comes last, to be really, really honest. Because remember, that's the vehicle, this is what we're learning to do, okay? So that's why I enjoy sharing this with people, just because I've seen so many people get into trouble. I'm going to share a quick one with you. I owned a condo back in Burnaby, BC, and that was the first place that I bought. Like I said earlier, 16 years ago now. Scary. sometimes time flies and you don't even realize it. And when I moved away from Burnaby to Edmonton in 2009, I rented it out because that's the way we were trained, right? If you can afford to hang on to it, you keep it and you rent it out. And had I not sold it in 2010, the following year, for $400,000, right now, the fair market value on that unit, the last time I checked, is probably about $680,000, depending on when it's actually going. And the last time I checked was really about 2 months ago now at this point. So, when COVID was still pretty scary for most of us, and the market basically, all the markets pretty much came to a halt. And so I look back, and sometimes, I even think about the fact that I sold it for 400. Had I hung on to it for another 2010 to now, 10 years, had I hung on to it for another 10 years, I would have made an additional, let's just round it up, $700,000, a difference of $300,000. You divide $300,000 by 10 years, that's an additional $30,000 a year. And if not for the recent rent increase in the Lower Mainland, honestly though, it would have been negatively cash flowing all the time because condo fees just kept going up, and also the building's getting older too. And so that's the really interesting thing, is that I've been financially free for over 8 years now. And having had 3 minor heart attacks and have to recover from that, it's, I don't know, how do you put a price tag on that? Right now, I can. That's what I'm doing with you. $30,000 on average a year. However, again, I let go of $300,000 for 8 years of financial freedom and for the rest of my life too. How do you compare that? And that really comes down to readjusting and challenging your mindset a lot of the times and getting yourselves educated on the different strategies that can help you get to your goals. Because without the strategies, even if I sold my condo 10 years ago, I would not have been able to execute it and put it in the right places to work for me as quickly as it did. And also the education is really what allowed me and my partner to go out and continue to work with close friends, families, and their referrals, because they now understand that you have that fundamental foundation behind you, which is the support, the mentorship, and the education behind you. So that's why I'm super, super passionate about this. There's no other word for it some days, I feel. So I hope that you're learning something out of this, and if this is the first time you're hearing this, please take the time to rewatch it. I can take this to a lot of different directions as well to really level with you. However, if you have any questions and comments and feedback, make sure you let me know. And if you can like the video, share the video with whoever you think can benefit from this, awesome. Because I've had already some people told me that, hey, you know what, I share some of your videos with other people, and all of a sudden they came back to me and say, oh, so I want to learn how to invest now. Can I invest with you? Great. If I'm doing the work for you, all the better. Okay, so as you guys know, I'm switching over to coming to you live every single day now during the week, Monday to Friday, with my Daily Dose with Tim at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And right now, we're still on the train of financial education, more heavily on real estate investing strategies and business mindset. However, hey, you know what? Never know. Sky's the limit. Let me know what you would like to learn about and chat about, and the topics that you want me to cover. I'm happy to be putting that out there for you. So tomorrow is the last episode for this week. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to know about, and thank you for all your inspirations once again. Have a great evening and live well.